Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, September 10th. I'm Luke Clary. The Korean government has raised its alert level for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome by one notch to watch. The move comes as for the first time in 3 years, a patient was diagnosed with the disease, known as MERS for short. Quarantine task forces have been launched across the country to closely monitor people who have come in contact with the infected person.
According to the Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, some 20 people have come into close contact with the man who has contracted Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS. The two persons are a taxi driver and the person who pushed the wheelchair used by the infected man.
정부는 메르스 확진자의 입국에서부터 격리에 이르는 전 과정에 이르는 이동 동선을 확인하였습니다.
People who are classified to have been in close contact with someone affected by MERS are those who were within 2 meters from the affected person, stayed in the same room or space with them, or came into direct contact with their saliva or other respiratory secretions. So far, 10 people are believed to have come into close contact with the infected man. Passengers on the same flight who were seated in the 3 rows in front of and behind him, flight attendants, a quarantine official, medical personnel, and the man's wife who met him at the airport upon his arrival. These 10 people have been placed under home or facility isolation. They will be closely monitored by health authorities for up to 14 days, which is the maximum incubation period of the disease. The government has raised the contagious disease alert level by one notch to what's called watch. Another 440 people, including passengers who took the same flight with the infected man, have been categorically changed from passive to active surveillance to have their body temperatures checked once a day. Meanwhile, the South Korean embassy to Kuwait has received reports of suspected MERS cases from 2 Korean nationals as well. And thus, health authorities have included Kuwait into the list of MERS-affected regions. They have also decided to strengthen quarantine inspections from passengers arriving from the Middle East. Given the maximum incubation period of the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, the next 2 weeks will likely be decisive in determining whether the nation will be hit by another outbreak of MERS or rather the virus be contained.